Yes, Steve, what's going on, bro? We've got loads to talk about this weekend, man. What is going on? Arsenal fans, Joel, you need to give us a bit of feedback on what's going on at your club. You're lively and talk a lot when you're winning and you get 3 points here and there. I want to know what's going on in your club now. Aubameyang's not scoring. What is happening? Around the league, little roundup. What's going on? Steve, take it away.
Yes, we are going to be talking about Arsenal. Don't worry about that. But before we get into them, let's talk about Liverpool. First things first, Liverpool's away form slump continues. More frustration on the road for Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool as a 93rd minute Pascal Gross penalty saw Brighton take a well-earned point. And, there was a few that maybe should have seen them ahead in the game a little bit earlier, but it is a well-earned point for Brighton and another away game without a win for Liverpool.
Right, so Liverpool draw away from home, man. They draw against Brighton, who I think Mr. Potter has got them flying. I have to say, he's been a breath of fresh air. The way he's got his team playing, they play fantastic football. They're not frightened at all. They don't just sit back. They go out and play. They're expansive. And my old mate from Man United, Danny Welbeck, has been a fantastic bit of business. They've got him in. Welbeck's problem's never been the quality. His problem's always just been staying fit. And once his kid's fit and he's playing, he is a nightmare to play against. I had a few nightmare days in training against him. After the Champions League, before the Champions League final, the young lads played against the elders in the training session. The last session before it, he scored a hat-trick before the 2008 Champions League final. And he was kicking off in training, arguments, almost fighting, scuffing after the game. The manager had to call the game off. So his quality's never been in doubt. And it's a great bit of business they've done. Great player. If they can keep him fit, I think he'll be the person to actually get him the goals, but also that bit of quality up front.
Liverpool really needed to bounce back after the defeat against Atalanta in midweek, but they didn't manage to do that, and it's now 4 consecutive Premier League away games without a win for the reigning champions. On top of that, Liverpool have lost more points from match-winning positions this season than they did in the entirety of last season.
Everyone's worried about are they going to be in a bit of a mini slump now because they've got injuries. I still think Liverpool are the team to catch. I say it every week. I still think they've got amazing quality all over the park. Their midfield and forward lines are to die for. I think Wijnaldum's been a key player before, but now I think even more so with all these injuries. I think his ability to play in multiple positions, he can play the 10-way plays brilliantly for Holland, scoring loads of goals. But he can quite easily play the holding role like he did in the last game. And I think he's somebody who is of huge importance. Fabinho's had to go into the back line now. So he comes to the fore as being one of the main men in the team, if you didn't already believe that. And his role, I think, will be pivotal with all these injuries, with how Liverpool do. But Mr. Jota does it again. 5 in 5 Premier League starts. Broke the record. He is on absolute fire. What a find he is. Not a steal at 40 million, but still not many people saw him as a player that can come into Liverpool and be someone who's contending for the starting positions. Not coming in and being a role player and just being chilling on the sideline, getting 10 minutes here, half an hour there. He's pushing for a starting position given that his output, goals. Comes in, bang. Looks confident. The team look like they love him being there. Who wouldn't? 5 goals in 5 starts in the Premier League.
As the injuries start to take hold of Jurgen Klopp's side, it's one of the many reasons why this season's title race could be absolutely wide open. Liverpool can't seem to find anything like the consistency which saw them take the title last year, and it looks like if they're unable to pick it up and turn it around very soon, it could allow somebody else to sneak in and mount a title challenge. Number 2, Burnley's 5-goal Deja Vu. Now, Burnley wouldn't have fancied their chances when they travelled to the Etihad this weekend trying to face off against Manchester City. But there seems to be some sort of curse attached to Sean Dyche's side when it comes to facing Manchester City. Riyad Mahrez was on fire netting a hat-trick as City bounced back from a defeat at Spurs in a relentless 5-0 triumph over Burnley.
This must be deja vu for Burnley. Out of the last 7 games in all competitions, Burnley have been beaten by the same score, 5-0, 4 times. 4 games out of 7, 5-zip. Ridiculous. And Mahrez pops up with a hat-trick. Did anyone see his goal, by the way, on international duty? Wow. The touch, the finish, devastating. Mahrez, man, listen, they've needed to rely on somebody else since Aguero's been out, and he's been producing, he's been scoring some goals. Hat-trick is a great way to announce yourself again to the league, to let people know I am one of the most important players in attacking areas. He's got that guile, he's got that little bit of swagger about him. Well, give me the ball, man. I'll do what I've got to do.
City are just the second team in Football League history to have won 4 games on the spin by 5+ goals against a single opponent after Notts counted it against Port Vale, ready for this, from 1839 to 1907. Wow. The victory this weekend saw Manchester City finally lift into the top half of the table, and with a favourable game against Fulham on the horizon for them this weekend, they might start eyeing up their own charge up the table to try and compete for glory this year.
These guys, they know how to score, they know how to play football. They're on a good roll at the moment. I think Man City are a team that are building. You can see they're improving, and they haven't been as consistent as I'm sure Pep would have liked, but you can see there's something coming. And when they get the likes of Aguero back, I think you can't undervalue what he means to that City team. He's a huge player, guarantees you big goals. Jesus is a great player as well, but Aguero is the main man for me. And once he's fit, I'll give them a better chance in terms of consistency and also challenging for honours.
Number 3, United stun Saints.
Guys, what can I say, man? Man United, this is what we do, man. It's part of our DNA. We give people a 2-0 head start. Everyone at home's going crazy, not in the stadium. Can you imagine what it'd have been like in that stadium? All them Saints fans going nuts. I was getting texts, people hammering me. Ollie's at the wheel. Then up steps Bruno. Yeah, as usual. Assist or a goal. He's there, he does it. He steps up. Big moment. Look at Bruno. He takes the floor. But then, El Matador comes alive. He comes on the pitch. He lets people know, I sniff out goals. I know where the net is. My movements when the ball's wide or at any part of the pitch, I'm alive. And he scores 2. Makes it 3-2. And Man United come back from the dead, and just remind people that that's part of our DNA. Hasn't been as consistent, hasn't been there for all to see as much as we'd like, but we still see, we can still smell that, the history that comes through with we're never dead. We can come back at any time. So, and that's against a Southampton team that have been absolutely flying of late.
We'd been in the fight. We weren't the worst team in the game. We were looking at a Saints team that was quite fortunate to be ahead. He was up through a couple of set pieces, very well taken free kick, and poor defending at the near post for the first goal. But Manchester United were having chances. United were creating chances, and they were just missing those chances. A couple of gilt-edged chances for Mason Greenwood and Bruno Fernandes were missed. It just felt like if we could get a goal back before the hour, United could really go on and do something. And on the 59th minute, we did just that. Cavani managed to provide an assist and then score 2 bullet headers himself to put United 3-2 up in the game and take all 3 points with us. Cavani just becomes the second player to be involved in 3+ goals for United off the bench since a certain Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did it against Nottingham Forest in 1999.
The amount that Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, Martial will learn off this guy, movement alone, is unbelievable. So it's worth having them just for that, to improve these boys. But they've got to be willing to learn. They've got to want to learn. They've got to look at Edison Cavani and go, I want that in my game. How am I going to do that? Analysis man at the club, can you give me some videos, please, on Cavani's movements? I just want to see videos of him alone, that's it. That's the type of stuff you've got to do to improve. Self-analyse, self-reflect, look at yourself. Where can I improve? Who can I learn off? He's the man. Over 200 goals for Paris Saint-Germain, listen. He knows what to do. Tap into that. I'll be tapping into that massively. So yeah, Man United, a very good result.
That's the 8th straight win on the road for United, and it leaves United now just 5 points off top spot with a game in hand. I thought there was supposed to be a crisis at Old Trafford. Number 4, Stamford Bridge Stalemate. Oh my God, was this the most boring game of the weekend? And do you know what? I think Jose Mourinho is delighted with it being the most boring game of the weekend. Most neutrals came into this game thinking, do you know what? The way these two teams have been going, Spurs have scored a lot of goals. Harry Kane, Heung-min-Son, absolutely flying at the moment. Chelsea, they're all about scoring goals. I'm sure this game's going to be an absolute cracker. No. It was a sheer tactical battle between Lampard and Mourinho, and it seemed like from the second half, at least, that Jose was well happy to take a point away. Just as he did against City, Mourinho dropped his team back and allowed them to defend and let Chelsea have the vast majority of the ball, an approach which saw Spurs record just 1 shot on target. Chelsea with 7 and Spurs with 8 are our current longest unbeaten runs in the Premier League and probably both serious contenders for the title.
Frank Lampard versus Jose. Student versus the teacher. Chelsea versus Spurs. Built the game up. What a piece of rubbish. Rubbish game. Boring game. But that's the way it is, isn't it? Sometimes these big games, you go into it and you're eagerly waiting for it to happen and it just like fizzles out. Two teams just don't go for it as much as you might have wanted as a fan. But I understand that some of these games you play in them big games when there's a lot riding on it, who's going to go top, etc. It's pressure. And sometimes you don't deal with it the best way and you go into it and you're not loose, you're not relaxed, you're uptight, you're tense, you're thinking, oh my God, don't want to make a mistake. No one wanted to go for it. And I don't think either team really let themselves off the leash and really went for the result and went for the jugular. But there were a couple of chances here and I think Tammy Abraham could have had a goal or two late on before he come off. The one when Dyer got his feet muddled up and turned his back on the ball and the cross came in. I thought Tammy could have done better there maybe, but other than that, not real huge chances for me. And I just thought it was a game that fizzled out and the pressure, I think, just told on both teams and they were both happy, I'm sure, content with a draw at the end of the game. But two teams I feel are going to be up there in the mix. It's definitely for Champions League places and the title aspirations, I think, remains to be seen. But I think Frank and Jose will be quietly pleased with their weekend's work.
As we come into the busy Christmas period, it's going to be interesting to see if any of them are able to really get their necks out in front and create a bit of a lead while there's uncertainty going on at every single club. And number 5, Arsenal lose again. Arsenal's diabolical streak of form continued again on Sunday night as they slipped to Wolves at home. Third successive home defeat in the Premier League for Arteta's men, and they were toothless once again. They actually don't look terrible defensively. They do seem well organised and they press really well, and although they didn't have Thomas Partey in midfield, it did still seem like they were capable, but they've got nothing at the other end. They don't create anywhere near enough chances to be winning football matches.
Joel, where are you, bruv? Where are you? Arsenal fans, where are you? Arsenal fan TV, all your guys, where are you? Boy, I don't know what's going on with you lot over there. It's just, you're lacking a bit of consistency. You're searching for consistency. You're searching for goals. There's no goals in the team at the moment. When Aubameyang don't bang, no one else seems to be stepping up, man. That's the problem. And I love the way Arteta's set up. He's bringing the young players in, and the young players have all been performing. It's just sometimes you need the experienced ones to drag you through a situation like this, to step up, man. Laka, man. We need Laka to come up with some goals, man. Pep, when you get your chance, Pepe, come in and bang. It's just, we haven't seen that cutting edge from this Arsenal team. I think Mikel Arteta came in, steadied the ship, told a few people, this is what I'm doing. I'm running the ship now. This is my team. This is what I do at Arsenal. And the players responded to it. Aubameyang especially was scoring goals, but it just shows you how reliant this team have been on Aubameyang. He doesn't score, Arsenal ain't the same team, man.
Arsenal's current tally of 13 points after 10 games, which leaves them in 14th position in the Premier League, is their lowest after 10 games of any Premier League campaign, and it's the lowest they've had since 1981-82 season. And after a promising start with Arteta, obviously did well going and winning the FA Cup for them last year, but after a pretty promising start, it seems like the wheels have really come off. And yes, they might have a style of play, but ultimately winning football matches is what it's all about. And the style of play doesn't lead to enough shots, it doesn't lead to enough goals. And the current win percentage that he's looking at for this season is awful. Unai Emery sits in third with Villarreal and seemingly having a really good go of it over in Spain. Were Arsenal too quick to pull the trigger with Unai Emery? Did he need a little bit more time? Because Arsenal look a long way off where they were both under Emery and in Wenger, who they campaigned so hard to get rid of. Arsenal need to turn this around big time, or they are in serious danger of not getting a top half finish, which would be absolutely disastrous. If they think that Arteta's the long-term manager that they want to put their backing into, then, and you know what, maybe they should. I'm sick of seeing managers sacked after 5 minutes. If Arsenal actually had the balls to come out and say, do you know what, yeah, this is our man, we see what he's doing behind the scenes, and with a couple of new signings in the right areas, maybe we've got something going on, and maybe there's something that we can turn from, pretty good defensive play by and large into pretty good offensive play and start to move up the table. But it seems like no one's interested in a long-term project in football anymore, and people keep saying the game's changed. Well, it doesn't have to have changed. Football's still football. It's still 11 men versus 11. And it's still who's got the better tactics and the better recruitment. If you're going to give the man time, you need to give the man time. Otherwise, no one gets the chance to settle in and no one gets the chance to improve what they're doing at a football club.
I have faith in Arteta, I've got to say. I believe he's the man to turn it around. I feel he's got the right character. I think they're going to have to back him again in the transfer window in January. But I think he's somebody, the signs for me have been more positive than not. So I'm sure Arsenal fans will be hoping for a good, swift turnaround. But right now, boy, ain't looking good for you, man. Joel, what are you saying?
Yeah, no, it's true. You know what I mean? Football's got me moving mad, bruv. I'm here sporting LA Lakers hats, bruv, because I'm about to switch to sport, guys. Bruv, the last 2 league games, you saw how we performed against Leeds. It was poor, embarrassing. We were even lucky to get a point. And then on top of that, the performance that we pulled off this weekend just gone, I just couldn't believe it, man. You better believe Howson was real fast and he said, hey, are you going to be on the show tomorrow? Hey, are you going to send your video in? Calm down, Big shout out to United, though. Good performance. I was laughing first 45 minutes, 5 audience, I can't lie. But Edison Cavani, mate, he did the business and he showed why he's the top man.
And just a quick shout out, man. David Luiz, I hope you're well. And Raul, man. Whoa, what I saw with his head. They're saying a fractured skull at the moment. I just hope and pray that he's safe and he's sound and he recovers back to full working condition. Good luck, man.
December now looms, and as usual, there's a lot of football to be played, and whether or not we actually get into the stadium to go and see any of that, I guess it remains to be seen at the moment. But it's going to be an interesting one, and I reckon by the end of December, it's going to look a lot different than it does right now. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is going to be top of the table, say, come Christmas Day? Do you think it could be Jose Mourinho's Spurs, and are they a serious contender for the title? Do you think it could be Chelsea and Frank Lampard? Or do you think Jurgen Klopp's going to solve the injury crisis at Liverpool and regain his top spot at the top of the table? Let me know in the comments. Cheers to Rio, cheers to Joel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.